The Chicago Bears reportedly have interest in multiple star running backs and could be looking to sniff around the RB market in a couple days when free agency begins. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears news update video, which I'll be doing anytime the Chicago Bears news going on. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts on latest breaking Chicago Bears news, which there's going to be a lot of very soon because free agency unofficially begins on Monday in only a couple days. Officially it begins on Wednesday, but all the deals are basically broken on Monday, and they're basically official unless you fail your physical like Larry Ogunjobi did back in 2022 for the Chicago Bears. But for the most part, they're going to be official starting on Monday. So a lot of news coming your way very soon. The Bears have a lot of cap space to spend. They have about $55 million after franchise tagging Jalen Johnson, which hopefully they can extend him to reduce the cap hit for this current year. But if they don't, we still have $55 million, which should be enough to sign a couple starters, maybe sign a star if they want to, like a Christian Wilkins, for example, defensive tackle. I know there's been rumors about the Bears maybe going after him, which I would be a big fan of to boost up the defensive line after the guy I wanted, Justin Madubuike, got franchise tagged by the Ravens. But in this video, I want to talk about rumors about the Bears maybe going in a different direction that a lot of us Bears fans did not see coming. Okay, the Bears reportedly do have interest in many of these star running backs that are available this offseason, which if you guys don't know, there's a lot of star RBs available this offseason. If I read you guys the list, so Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, AJ Dillon, J.K. Dobbins, a bunch of others. Like, there's a lot of good running backs available this year in free agency because everybody realizes that running backs are pretty replaceable through the NFL draft, so we don't pay running backs nearly as much anymore as we used to, which is why there's a lot of running backs hitting free agency this offseason. And the Bears may be looking to take advantage of that because I've been seeing a lot of reports from different people that have been suggesting the Bears could be trying to sign some of these guys, especially the stars at the top like Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. So according to Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News, he said the Raiders, the Eagles, the Bears, Patriots, Ravens, and Texans are considered to be among the primary suitors for Saquon Barkley. And if you look at the suitors for Josh Jacobs, according to the ESPN 1000 podcast, where the guy on there was talking about texting the agent of Josh Jacobs, and he said that the Bears and Josh Jacobs have mutual interest. And I've been seeing a lot of other reports too floating around Twitter, around the news mills that have suggested the Bears and Ryan Poles are at least going to be looking and maybe trying to sign one of these star running backs that are available in free agency this year. And personally, I do think it makes a lot of sense, especially because we are probably going to have a rookie quarterback. Okay, what is a rookie quarterback's best friend? It's a strong run game, and right now I don't know where the Bears' run game really stands without Justin Fields. You guys have to remember, like, the majority of our run game the last 2 seasons has been Justin Fields being one of the best running quarterbacks in the entire NFL. In 2022, Justin Fields had 1,143 rushing yards. In 2023, he had 657 rushing yards. And yes, Khalil Herbert has been super efficient the past couple of years, and Roschon Johnson had a couple nice moments, but these running backs benefit heavily from having a running quarterback in Fields because on the option plays, obviously, you have to account for the threat of Justin Fields running with the football, and that makes it easier for the other running backs to thrive in this offense. And last year, I feel like the run game, besides Fields, was very lacking at certain times. Okay, it did not seem like we had a true star at running back. It was more of like a RB by committee, which that can work. Don't get me wrong. That can definitely work in today's NFL. You don't need a star running back to win championships. Like the Kansas City Chiefs have proven, Ryan Poles' former team, but the 49ers almost won the Super Bowl after paying and trading a lot for Christian McCaffrey. And Christian McCaffrey carried the 49ers offense at times last season. And I'm not trying to compare any of these running backs available to Christian McCaffrey because I think he's truly in a class of his own as a receiving threat and as a runner. But there's still a lot of, really good running backs available this year in free agency that I feel like could be big benefits to a Bears offense that right now I feel like has questions at running back. Okay, Khalil Herbert is only on a contract for 1 more year, and yes, he's been super efficient, but he's never proven to be a true workhorse type of back. He still lacks as a pass blocker. He still lacks as a pass catcher. Roschon Johnson had a couple nice moments last year, but sometimes it seemed like he lacked the burst, the electricity to truly be like a number 1 star running back, right? So, man, if you want to give Caleb Williams one of these guys, like a Josh Jacobs, like a Saquon Barkley, to make his life as a as a quarterback a lot easier, I would be all for that because we have a lot of cap space as well, guys. Like, keep that in mind too. Like, after having a rookie quarterback in here, a quarterback on a rookie contract, we are going to be having a lot more cap space for the next 3-4 years. So, any of these guys' contracts, they would only be for 2 or 3 years maximum. They're not going to get 4 or 5 year contracts. So by the time you have to pay Caleb Williams, presumably, the running backs we'd pay right now would not be under contract anymore. And at that point, you could just draft a running back, or maybe you'd already have a running back, waiting in the wings that you drafted earlier that would be ready to take over for a Saquon Barkley, for a Josh Jacobs. So I think it makes a lot of sense for the Bears to pay a running back, even though that goes against all conventional wisdom about the analytics saying that you should not be paying running backs. They're very, very replaceable through the NFL draft, which is true to some extent. So if the Bears, do want to draft a running back, I still could see that being a possibility if they do want to get a cheap one. But I think the Bears do have the cap space to get a proven, high-end running back if they want to, and still target other positions like defensive tackle, like, offensive line potentially, like receiver number 3. They can still get these additions through free agency because we do have a good amount of money to spend, and we could push money into the future if we want to make room for the current year, because we're going to be having a quarterback on a rookie contract. We have to take full advantage of this rookie contract while we can, because we did not do that with Justin Fields. Okay, we were basically spending all of Justin Fields' rookie contract rebuilding, but Caleb Williams is very, very lucky to go into a situation where the Bears could be ready to start winning football games right now, even with the rookie quarterback, because the team has been building the past couple of years. We have multiple high draft picks. We spent a lot of money last year. We have a lot of money to spend this year as well. The Bears have to start winning right now, and I think that paying a running back could make a lot of sense. So if you look at some of these guys, like if you look at Saquon Barkley, for example, 2023 was not as good as 2022, but that's partly because the Giants' offensive line was a complete shit show. I don't think it was because Saquon himself was not as good, because if you watched him in those games last year, like, there was not much of anywhere to run. They did not have any sort of passing attack at all when Daniel Jones went down with the injury. And even when Daniel Jones was in there, he wasn't that good last year, right? So he's running into stacked boxes constantly, but he still had 962 yards in only 14 games that he started, along with 280 receiving yards, and he's only 1 year removed from having that fantastic 1,312 rushing yard season where he carried the Giants offense to the playoffs basically by himself. He showed fantastic burst that year. That was only 1 year ago. So I don't think Saquon Barkley is washed at all, like some people have been saying. And if you look at Josh Jacobs' stats, just like Saquon, he did not have as good of a 2023 as he did 2022. He only had 805 rushing yards, 296 receiving yards. The yards per carry were not good last year, but again, not a great offensive line he was running behind. But the year prior, 1,653 rushing yards and 400 receiving yards, and was an all-pro player, right? So that was only 1 year ago. Like, 1 year is not that long ago. I really do feel like a change of scenery could do these guys a lot of good, especially running behind some great run blockers like we have in the Bears in Tevin Jenkins, Braxton Jones. Darnell Wright had good moments as a run blocker last year. So it's going to be a much better situation here in Chicago, and I think these guys will be great additions to the Bears. And if you look at Derrick Henry's stats, which I didn't even bring up, and the Bears haven't been specifically connected to Derrick Henry per se, but maybe that could be an option as well if they truly wanted to go after him. But you guys can see he has been a wrecking ball basically every single year of his career. Last year, even, under some bad circumstances, he still had 1,167 rushing yards along with 12 touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine, just an absolute monster. Can you imagine Derrick Henry in a Bears uniform? That would be freaking fantastic, being a fan of this franchise, which has had so many great running backs. So again, I know guys, like, all the analytics, all the new school ways of thinking say that you should not be paying running backs, and to some extent I do agree with those points, because the data has proven that you can draft running backs and still have a lot of success by only drafting backs every single year. But I just can't help but think the Bears have a fantastic opportunity here to take advantage of a weak running back market and get a really good football player at a position of need potentially for not as much as we think it's going to cost. Okay, these guys are not going to be getting 15, 16, 17 million per year. It's more likely to be around 11, 12 million per year, which I'm totally okay paying these guys that much money because they're all around fantastic football players. Like, they're just all around great weapons. They can catch the ball out of the backfield. They can run every single down. They don't have to go off at any point because they're great pass blockers. A lot of these guys are as well, where I feel like Herbert is not an every down back because he can't pass protect and he can't catch the ball as good as many RB1s can. So I would be totally okay with the Bears paying a running back, even though I know a lot of people would be against it. But let me know your opinions in the comments down below. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. These are only rumors at this point, and rumors oftentimes can be wrong. But I cannot wait to see what ends up actually happening in only a couple days. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.